Okay, hello everybody. Welcome. I'm Manny with College Planning ABC, and I'm gonna be your speaker for this evening. Okay, well, so we got about 30 more seconds here before we get going, but I'm just gonna allow everybody to hop on in here while people are coming in on the webinar here. So let me make sure we're good to go and do some little checks here. So first off, can you guys hear me okay? Doing a checkpoint. Can you hear me all right? Make sure we're good. And by the way, where are you guys calling from? I'm here at a San Jose, California. I don't know where you guys are calling in from, but let me know where you are at. So just type it in the chat there. Tell me where you're from. If you're in San Jose, you're in the Bay Area, you're SoCal, or you're out of California. Great. I would love to know where you guys are calling in from. So say hi to me. Hope you guys can see the chat. All right, Beaumont, California, Bay Area. Hey, Tiffany, how you doing? Marlene, hello. This is a live call if you haven't figured that out yet. So I'm gonna give you guys a lot of great content. So where else are you guys calling from? Anybody else want to say hello to me? Indio. Okay, Maria. I don't even know where Indio is. So that's probably somewhere down south, maybe inland somewhere. I don't know where that's at. But welcome. All right, anybody else? Hello. Okay, well, let's get rolling here, folks. Let's get started here. So today is going to be a talk on college planning, and hopefully you guys are all most likely going to be like juniors and sophomores on the call. I may have a couple freshmen, but do I have any high school seniors here on the call? Parents or high school seniors on this call today? Raise your hand if you are. If not, no big deal. Then maybe you guys are all like, okay, Tiffany. Okay, great. So for my high school seniors, if you're a senior on this call, all right, let's tell you what's going on here. If you're a high school senior, you're actually kind of in the tail end of this, right? So you guys just need some financial help. Here's what you want to do, okay? Because you're not unless you have other kids. If you only have one child, Tiffany, then great. You know what I'll tell you to do is just go ahead and go and book an appointment to come and chat with me. Okay, so you're going to go to collegegamechanger.com and you're going to be able to register to book a call with me. You're going to see some information there. You scroll down, you'll see my calendar, and you'll be able to book a calendar. Okay, so go to collegegamechanger.com because Tiffany, if you guys are a high school senior parent, you're kind of already late. Does it make sense? Because you're already through this process, you're already done. This call is simply going to be for my high school juniors, going to be high school seniors, or my sophomores or freshmen. So if you're already a high school senior that's just graduating, I can help you on the financial aspect. But if you have other children, then this call is still going to be beneficial for you. Okay? Okay. So if you have a junior, going to be senior, okay, then we're good. You're good. No worries. All right, guys. So let's get rolling here. How to pay for college without going broke. Okay, this is a 60-minute talk and go very fast. So please make sure you have some notes there, piece of paper and a pen to take a lot of notes. 3 points going to cover today: how to get to your top college, how to get some massive discounts, and how to position yourself and your student to benefit from this process. The problem that a lot of families have, okay, is how do we get our kids into the best colleges possible without just spending everything we got, right? And like taking a ton of debt on and without damaging your retirement accounts. So that is the biggest problem that many parents face. So we want to solve that today. I'm going to give you some insight as well. So this call is going to be valued at $40,000 to you guys. You may say, what are you talking about? Okay, so here's the deal. At the end of my call, I'm going to give you guys a list. It is going to be a list of over 1,200 colleges across the United States that if you qualify for these colleges, that you're going to get free tuition. It's going to give you all the information of like, here's a GPA, here's the scores, if they're taking scores or not, here's what you need to qualify, and what that tuition amount is eligible for you. Okay, so that is typically at state universities across the United States. You're looking at a $10,000 price tag times 4 years of college. That's $40,000. That's how I came up with that number. So how many of you guys want to have free tuition at colleges? Raise your hand if you guys up for free tuition. Who wants it? Yeah, yes, everybody should be raising their hand here, right? Absolutely. So I'll definitely talk to you guys about that as well. So here's the thing, college is expensive. I don't know if you guys have looked at the college costs or not, but let's take a look at colleges here. If we're are we everybody here in California? Raise your hand if you're not in California. But if you are in California, let's look at costs here. Um, Typical public university cost is this. Boop, about 28 to 38,000. So at $28,000 is a CSU college, like a Long Beach, a Cal Poly San Luis Obispo is more like 30,000, but your typical CSU college, San Diego, San Jose State, San Francisco State, roughly about 28. UC schools are about 35 to $38,000 a year, based on location. Of course, like San Diego, LA, Berkeley are getting more expensive than maybe your Riverside or Merced. What about your private colleges? If you're looking at private schools in California, here locally, there's a USF, there's Santa Clara, St. Mary's, UOP. Down south, there's like USC, there's Loyola, there's San Diego, Pepperdine. So the average private school cost is going to run about $68,000 to $72,000. But what about your elite private colleges? Anybody here that is looking at Harvard, Stanford, Yale, Brown, those Ivy League colleges? Raise your hand if you're looking at Ivy Leagues. Johns Hopkins, MIT, Caltech. Anybody here want to raise your hand? Anybody there? All right, cool. So if you are, then here's what you're looking at. Your price tag for these colleges is gonna run you $73,000 to $80,000 a year. Woo! It's a lot, man. Absolutely. So whatever college system you're going to go to, whether it be a CSU, UC, private, elite private school, whatever system that is, let's multiply that by 4 years of college. Do you have your number? So 4 years of college. All right. So let me ask you this. Do you guys have all the money for college? Yes or no? Okay. If you don't have all the money for college, let me ask you this. How far back is that going to put you in retirement? How far back? Okay. Are you going to be able to retire on time? Okay. And my question is, again, if you don't have all the money for college, how much longer are you going to have to work? Okay. That's a scary thought. All right. That we have to push back our retirement and work for another maybe 5, 7 years before we retire. Like, that's insane, but that's reality. Okay. So definitely let's talk about this and let's do some homework. Okay. Because that's a scary thought. Not only that, you guys, let's take a look at this. Whatever, if you're looking at a UC school, it's about 35,000 a year on average. So let's say $35,000 times 4 years. Okay, you're at 140. Let's say you have a couple kids, right? 2 kids, that's 280 right there, closer to 300,000 because they're gapped out and tuition goes up every year. So you're close to 300,000 there. Well, let me ask you, this is net cost. Are you going to be able to afford it? Okay, yes or no? So let's look at this, folks. Let's do some homework here. So who am I and why in the world should we even be listening to me? Okay. Again, my name is Manuel Fabriker. I'm with College Planning ABC. I've been doing college planning now for 15 years. Actually, this could be upcoming 16th year here. I started this business over 15 years ago with my beautiful bride, Romina, and I got 2 great kids. My daughter is actually now a sophomore, going to be a junior in college, and my son is a junior in high school, going to be a senior. So, like, I not only have I helped over 5,000 families to this process, I'd help my own daughter get in, and working with my son this upcoming year to go through this whole process as well. So USF, that is my alma mater. I went to University of San Francisco, and my daughter ended up going to that college as well. So I've been through a lot in this process. Okay, so here's the thing with the colleges and so forth. There's a lot of different colleges that are out there, right? The public schools, the private schools, and so forth. I'll show you guys how to navigate this crazy maze and show you guys how to get the discounts. Because yes, USF is a private college, but you know, if you play your cards right, I'll show you how to go to private schools for the same price or less than a UC college. Is that good? I'll show you how it all works here. So I am a big advocate of cancer societies and fundraising for cancer. Why? Because a few years back, my beautiful bride, Romina, it's actually been coming up on 5 years now. So a little well, 5 years ago, she passed away of a rare form of cancer called phyllodes tumor. And I'm a widower, so I'm raising my kids on my own. And I've been busy over the past years, kind of making this happen, right? And this transition. And so not only have I helped my kids go through college and my daughter go through college, but I've done it all alone and doing it with a lot of challenges my way. So a lot of my things that I do, I fundraise for cancer societies. I'm not asking for a fundraiser, but just telling you what's going on. Like some of my book proceeds and some of the proceeds from my business, I donate. Got really, really excited about college, about helping families my second year in this business because this family comes to me. His name's Cliff. And Cliff calls me and leaves a message on my voicemail and says, Manny, can you please call me back? I need your help. So I immediately call him back. When I got in the office, I said, hey, Cliff, what's going on? How can I help you? He goes, Manny, I got bad news. And I said, oh, what's happening? He says, I just got diagnosed with a rare form of leukemia and I have 2 months to live. And I'm like, oh, my heart just sunk. I'm like, oh man. He goes, man, you're the first person I called because college means the world to my wife and myself and to my son. And my son got to University Pacific Dental School. I don't know if you guys are familiar with UOP Dental School, but it's actually one of the only ones in California to have an accelerated dental school program. They have a 5, 6, and 7 year program. So he got into the accelerated program. He says, I need your help for my son and my wife to ensure that he's going to finish medical school or dental school and become a dentist. And that's our goal. So that's my last dying wish. If you could help me, I'd really appreciate it. And I'm like, okay, you got it, Cliff. I'll do it. No worries. So anyway, he said, you know what? That's all I ask. And I said, really? Can I come see you? He goes, no, you can't see me because leukemia. No one could come in here besides my family. And there's like the whole plastic tarp. I said, okay. He says, Manny, I didn't call my family members. I didn't call an attorney. I didn't call my accountant or financial planner. I called you, my college guy, because this is how much college means to me. I'm like, all right, I got you. I'll take care of it. And so at that moment, I knew, like, wow, what I do has a really big impact on people's lives, of reaching that next level for families and helping them accomplish that. So to me, I got so excited about being a part of people's lives and helping them make this transition. I wrote this book as well, and it's an older book. So I'm not trying to sell you a book. I'm actually going to give you my book for free. Is that good? So I'm going to give you a PDF version of this book for free. I am finishing up the final touches on this book because I updated now with the new revisions of college admissions, because this last couple years, college admissions has definitely changed, right? With COVID and everything like that. Things have changed with SATs and everything else. So all these new stats are in the book, but I'm going to give you a copy of this book for free. And if you do this today and you download all this stuff today, I'm actually going to give you a copy of my new book for free as well when it comes released in the next couple of weeks. So that's all being updated and edited and everything. And you guys can get a copy of that if you're on this list. So if you guys want it, great. All you got to do is I'll tell you at the end, as you go to collegegamechanger.com, you put your information in and boom, you get the PDF version. Then I'll send you the new version later. Fair enough? All right, cool. But this little book, did a lot of wonders for me, and very, very blessed to have this opportunity. But this book got me a lot of coverage all over the nation, and I've been on national television from CBS daytime show. I've been on NBC national TV. I've been on Fox TV. I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing, but I've been on Fox TV, and I've been on ABC San Francisco. For you folks that are in the Bay Area, probably Michael Finney, 7 on Your Side with ABC. So I was on his show and talked to him about his kids in college as well. So long story short, this show got syndicated over 140 stations nationwide because I did not know that Disney owns ABC. And so they said, hey, that was a great episode. We want to air this out and shoot it over. And boom, it crashed my system. In a few days, I had over 800 phone calls and messages, and it was really too much for me to handle. I wasn't prepared for that. I'm only like a 5-man team, right? It's me and a couple assistants and some admin staff, and 800 calls is a lot of people to call back. So that's what happened over at ABC San Francisco, which is a great thing for me, but also led me to speak at other events and get on other station. So I've met a lot of people in my journey, celebrities, entrepreneurs, so forth, actors, actresses, famous athletes. I've been on Money Magazine, CNN, Wall Street Journal, U.S. News, World Report, back-to-back episodes. Met people like Gene Simmons from Kiss, Sir Anthony Hopkins, Jason Alexander, Chuck Liddell, many athletes. I guess Grammy Award winners as well. I met two of them. So just the accolades of just doing college. I just help a lot of people with college, and that's all I do. I was able to speak at Harvard a few times as well. I spoke on stage with the world's most interesting man, the Dos Equis gentleman, and Suzanne Summers from Three's Company, and that's me and her on stage there. Also, I had an opportunity to speak at Coca-Cola in front of the employees at Coca-Cola. So I did that, and that was in Atlanta. I had over like 300 people in attendance at that event, and also had the opportunity to speak at the NASDAQ exchange. This is like my claim to fame. So my claim to fame is I'm the only college planner in America that had the opportunity invite to speak at the NASDAQ exchange. And that's me, my book in front of the New York Times Square NASDAQ. So that's not cropped in, that's legitimate. That's me standing right there, right in front of the New York Jumbotron, and my book posted on there. There's another photo of my face on that too as well, but that's me. Also had the opportunity to speak at Carnegie Hall and chat with Martha Stewart, which is fantastic, and talk to her about her journey and rise to fame again after her little vacation. And just talk about what she's doing and so forth, and what tips she had for me to do things as well. So that was an awesome opportunity to speak at Carnegie Hall and have a chance to meet with her. Money. I did not have money, guys, when I went to college. My mom and dad are actually from the Philippines. They migrated here. My mom was a teacher, and my dad was a laborer, so we were not rich. We had enough money. We had roof overhead. We had food on the table, and that was about it. There's four of us in the family, and I'm the first one to go to college. So I was kind of like the guinea pig, right? They didn't really know what to do. The system in the Philippines is very, very different than here in the United States. And I don't know where you guys are from, but if you guys from another country and you migrated here to the United States, it's very different back home in college than it is here. And this system, even if you went to college here in the United States, okay, 20, 25 years ago, you can't say that 20, 25 years ago college is the same. It's not. Admissions is harder, right? There's more competition for admissions here. The cost of college has increased over 400% over the past 20 years. And if you look at the cost of college that you paid when you went to college 20, 25 years ago, and you look at the cost today, it's outrageous, right? For the cost that I threw out there for you. So again, my parents were broke. I had to take loans. I took over $60,000 of student loan debt in 1996. So when I graduated, I had $60,000 student loan debt. That may not be a lot of money to you, but that's a lot of money to me. Okay. So it's a lot of money for me. I just didn't have that kind of money. And if you click today's dollar, that's over like $200,000 in today's dollars. How was that a poor broke boy, parents of a teacher and a laborer? How in the heck did I do college? I took a ton of loans. It was like the necessary evil because I didn't know the process. So the thing is, like, I made a lot of mistakes applying for the FAFSA, applying for late, doing things late, last minute. It cost me thousands of dollars. My biggest fear when I was going to college was that the college would not accept me because my parents were broke. We didn't have enough money. They're like, we don't want this kid. They can't even pay for college. They're not coming. And I actually put more income than my parents had on the paperwork. And I put more assets than my parents had as well, because I wanted to go to college. And my fear was like, they're not going to take me. So I overstated everything and actually ended up paying for it in loans and so forth. I know this process could be very frustrating, and that's why you're probably on this call. You've probably been thinking about college for such a long time, and you think about, okay, college is coming up in the next couple of years. How in the world am I going to do this, right? How is this going to work? How am I going to pay for it as well? You maybe have some means, maybe you don't. The average family has maybe like 1 or 2 years of college, okay, but you do have a few kids. So, that's definitely on the minds of many, many people. So I understand your fear and frustration. But here's the thing. I know you're worried and stressed. It's okay. today I'm going to give you some hope. All right. So one of the things that parents have as well is they have challenges with their students. And what do you mean by that? Is anybody there that, when you try to talk to your kids about college or about anything, like your kids don't want to listen to you anymore, especially about college? Like you're always talking about, hey, what college you want to go to, what made you want to do, what do you want to become in life? And like your kids just don't want to talk to you. Like, mom, dad, just leave me alone. I'll take care of it. Just leave me alone. I don't want to talk about it right now. Anybody get that yet? Or is it just me? Am I the only parent that gets that kind of feedback and that kind of resentment? Okay, it's like I'm trying to help you, but they just don't want to help us. They don't want to talk to you, and it's frustrating. I get it. All good intentions, but that's just how it goes. So it actually is easier for a third party to come in and work with your student because it eases the tension and just makes the household whole lot smoother. And there's not a lot of yelling and fighting in the household. So that's another reason why people reach out and get some support with this process. So the crazy maze, like I'm going to show you guys all the mistakes that I made and tell you guys how to avoid them. So you don't have to make the $60,000 mistake, or which is equivalent to $200,000 today. You don't have to do that. And I think one of the biggest lessons is to learn from other people versus doing it yourself. Okay, you better learn from somebody else. But my goal, my intention is to be your tour guide, to shine the light on the crazy maze of college and be that guide for you in the dark tunnels of the college crazy maze. So right now, I told you guys it's an hour talk. I've been here 10, 15 minutes already, but here's the deal. Okay, if you want, go to collegegamechanger.com. You'll be able to get all this information if you can't hang with me until the end. All right, so that's the deal. Go to collegegamechanger.com or take a photo of this real quick, and you'll go there and you can be able to get a copy of my book and also book an appointment. So if you want it, great, go do that. And that's what's going to happen if you can't hang with me until the end. So let's talk about this SAT. So if we're in California, you guys, the UCs and CSUs are no longer accepting SATs or ACTs. Woohoo! Right? However, if you're going to private schools, a lot of the colleges are going to be test optional. So I just want to let you know that I recommend that if you are looking at private colleges or out-of-state public colleges, that I would say do it because it'll help you guys get additional merit aid, which is money. You guys want money, you got to probably take a test. So that's what you need to do. So if you're in California, we're going to UCs or CSUs, you don't need to worry about it. Only for out-of-state colleges and private colleges. So I would say still take an SAT or ACT and still study. I know the June exam got canceled for many students in California, but you're able to take the August exam. And those August test dates should be opening up in early July because I know you can't register for them just yet. So just make sure you're looking at July, early July for the next test dates. All righty? And worst case scenario, if your student can't test well and doesn't score well on the SAT or ACT, then definitely we'll go test optional, right? So test optional is we're not even going to show a score. We're just going to be giving them the colleges, your student's GPA. No, what's heavy though, if your student has probably they most likely took the AP exams already, colleges will be looking at your GPA, the AP classes, and what their and AP exams. All right, so that's what they'll be looking for in this process, and that's because there's no test score. That's the only thing. And yes, they will be looking at extracurricular activities. So this summer, if you're a rising high school senior, okay, like Tiffany, you have a high school junior, gonna be senior. All right, what are we doing this summer to increase your students' odds of getting into a college? And what do we need to do to prep to make sure we're on point this upcoming fall with apps and essays and so forth? Because everything starts opening up in August. So right now is a great time to get started in this process with everything. Okay. So secret number one, finding the right college is going to give you some money, right? What are we doing? What are we doing? Money is, here's how you're going to get it. There's merit-based aid. You have to look at the academics of the college and does your students' criteria fit that merit aid, okay, score-wise, like GPA-wise. Financial aid formulas, they're going to be looking at your income, right, and your assets. They're looking at that. And what you need to understand is high need and high merit-based aid schools. So what you need to understand is every single college in America, there are different brackets, right? There's in-state, there's out-of-state, but let's talk about California. In California, we have UC, we have CSU, we have private, but within that, there's different tiers. Like UC schools are pretty competitive, CSUs are not so, okay? Cal Poly is competitive, San Diego is competitive, Long Beach. But also what you need to consider is that what's happened with the UC schools, because they're no longer taking um, SAT scores, is that many students from out of state are applying to UC colleges. And that's why you saw the application count this past year over 100,000, right? At like Santa Barbara, at Berkeley, LA, and San Diego, they all had roughly 100,000 plus applicants. A lot of the colleges had over 80,000 plus applicants for only like 7,000 seats. So when you're really looking at the UC admissions, they only have less than 10%, right? They're really truly admitting into the system. So it's very, very competitive. So you have to understand, where does your student fit in? Okay. So academics, the financial aid formula, and understand the college's high need or high merit based aid formulas. Admissions process. Let's keep this simple. We're going to use a simple spreadsheet. You're going to stay on top of dates, right? So you have the college's name, you have the deadlines, but you have to understand there's early action, early decision, regular decision, and rolling. So which deadline are you trying to hit? And additional requirements, additional applications, for example, for scholarships, essays are going to need, teacher letter recommendations, yes, student resumes, transcripts, interviews. You no longer need to submit subject tests, right? So subject tests are done. You no longer need to take them. However, if you did take an SAT 2, like your freshman year, if you're a senior, and if you took it like freshman year, sure, you may be able to submit that if they have room for it, but you would probably submit it. Additional scholarship applications, and yes, there are some. If you're going to UW, University of Washington, there's going to be additional application you'd have to do for the merit aid. So you have to look at those. Okay, NYU, you don't have to do anything additional, but Northeastern, you'd have to do something additional. So some of these colleges will have additional applications for their internal scholarship process. So you have to understand that. At the end of the day, like after everything's said and done, like usually in February, March timeframe, you're gonna start hearing back from your admissions. So you apply in the fall and you hear back in the spring. It's typically how it goes. If you went early action, early decision, you're gonna find out by like end of December, right? Is when you're gonna find out, and if you're in or not. And then then you'd have the other ones later on in like February, March timeframe for your other admissions. Okay, rule of thumb, be an educated consumer, look at the top-down approach. You're applying to about 12 to 15 colleges, and make sure, the colleges want you. What do you mean by that? There's a range of admissions, and it'll be like GPA and SAT range. So we want to make sure, does your student even qualify for that college? Like if you can't even qualify, then don't bother, right? So let's say your GPA is a 3.5, which is still solid, but then you're looking at UC Berkeley. Well, who's getting into Berkeley? Even Berkeley will say you could still apply with the 3.5, but are you really getting in? No. Who gets in? About 4.3 plus. So if you're not even a 4.3 plus, probably not going to get in, right? But you can still apply, but good luck, right? But just know your numbers. Know where you stand with the admissions prior to doing all this work, because that's one of the biggest mistakes that parents make and students make is you apply all these colleges and you're not even close, right? So you wasted time, you wasted money, you gave them false hope that they get into these colleges and they're nowhere near. Okay, so we want to do some homework ahead of time. Now here's how to apply to these colleges. You're gonna apply to 12 to 15, maybe some of you guys are doing 20, but large, small, public, private, in-state, out-of-state, and rival colleges, right? Large, small, public, private, in-state, out-of-state, and rival colleges. And if you do it that fashion, I guarantee you're gonna get admitted and you're gonna get some money. Okay, that's how that's gonna work. Secret number 2 is the magic formula. Okay, so my high school seniors, class of 2022. This is the model that you're going to have. Cost of attendance minus EFC equals need minus resources equals a modified need. This calculation is only for one more year for my high school sophomores or freshmen. there's going to be a new calculation. Okay, it's called the Student Affordability Index, and it's going to change. But I'm not going to get into that right now because the high school juniors, seniors right now, this is what you need to know. Okay, cost of attendance is what the college costs, right? That's full room, board, tuition, everything. EFC is expected family contribution. That's your number. Those are the college things you could pay. Minus equals a need, minus resources equals modified need. So the only thing you control in this formula is the EFC. The lower the EFC, the higher the need. The higher the need, the more money you're going to receive. Okay, pretty simple. Well, how can we control the EFC? If that's a number that you could control, then how do you do this? Well, it's income and asset planning 1 to 2 years prior. So right now, if you're a high school senior, we need to do something now, right? You're kind of late to the program. You should have been here a year ago, but you can still do something now. You only have a couple months to make it to do this to lower your EFCs. I don't mean to scare you, but you are late. Okay, let's just be honest. Let's be real. You're late. You got to hurry up. Okay, because the financial planning, portion of that, it's like tax planning. The lower your income taxes are, the less taxes you pay. Correct? Okay, same thing. The lower your EFC, the less you pay to a college. The less you pay to college, that's good for you, right? Yes, absolutely. But you're just doing it only a few months before school starts, and that's where the problem is. All right, where you don't have a lot of time, and now's the time to really get going, and you can't procrastinate any longer, especially if you're going to graduating class of 2022. So in this formula, the EFC is 20,000, cost is 36. You have a need of 16. You got a scholarship of $2,000. You have a modified need at 14. So how and when to apply for financial aid? All the financial aid comes out in the fall, the senior year fall, starting like September, October timeframe. Okay. So FAFSA, everyone fills out the CSS profile, typically for private colleges, but there are public schools that use the CSS profile. And what do you mean by that? Okay. What colleges use that? So UNC Chapel Hill, right? Mississippi Ole Miss uses it. Okay. They'll be use it for merit aid, for example, at Michigan. They'll be using it. UVA, UNC Chapel Hill. So these are public schools that actually use the CSS profile because they have very large endowment funds. So that's what you want to understand. If you want their money, they're going to make you fill out this additional form, even though it's not required, but it's required if you want their additional money for their institutional funds. Okay, so there's different types of money. Different pots. So there's need-based aid. So there's a need pot. There's a merit-based aid, and there's institutional money. Okay, do you understand? There's 3 types of money. What do you mean by institutional money? That's a college's money. That's a college's endowment fund. So when they're using their endowment money, they could do whatever they please with their money, right? They could use that for recruiting, even though they're not supposed to, but they could. They could use it for recruiting athletes or even students. Okay, so let's say my student is a 4.8 GPA student going into engineering, and I want the student to come to my college here at Georgia Tech. Well, the fabulous student created something that's going to cure cancer. Well, I want this kid to come to Georgia Tech. And so I'm willing to give some money from my endowment fund to give to them, even though it's not part of the FAFSA, even though it's not merit aid, it's going to be our institutional money. So they could do that, even though Georgia Tech is an out-of-state public college. Does that make sense? So colleges own funds. They could do whatever they want with their own discretion. They could do whatever they want to do with their own money. So just letting you know that. Now, there's business forms and divorce separation agreements. If you are divorced or separated, some of your colleges would be asking for additional information. They want to know, where's your divorce decree separation agreement, and I want to see it. Why? Because I want to know, where's your money at? Does your ex-spouse have to pay for college? Was there a college fund somewhere, somehow, that has to be set up? What's going on? Where's your money and who's paying? Bottom line, that's what they're looking for. All right, school A, school B, lesser school. Some of you guys, this is actually a good case. So school A is USC, school B is UCLA. And so here's the deal with this. At school A, right, it's $70,000. This is USC. At school B, this is UCLA. Most of you guys will look at school A at $70,000 and go, you know what? Forget it. Like, that's $70,000. Let's just move on to another college. Impossible. I'm not paying $70,000. Let's get out of here. So typically that's what you would do. That's what most people do. You look at sticker price, you go like, see you later. Well, what you need to understand, remember, if you have your EFC is 20,000, we're going to keep it the same here for this case. The EFC is 20,000. You have a need of 50,000 at one college. The other college, you have a need of 15. At USC, it's 100% need met and 100% need met and an 80-20 split. So 80% of your 50,000 is $40,000 free. The rest of the 20% at 50,000 is $10,000 in self-help. That is student loans and work study. Now at school B, okay, its need is 15. They're going to give you 6% with the 50-50 split. So you get $7,500, but at the end of the day, you get some self-help at $4,500. Here's what you get to pay. So at school A, you get to pay $30,000 for USC, or would you like to pay $32,000 at UCLA? What college do you want to go to now? How many guys would like to go for the fancy private school for the same price as Toyota or Honda? Raise your hand. Anybody interested in paying less at a private school, or you guys all want to pay full price? Hello? Raise your hand here. Anybody want that? Absolutely. Why not? Exactly, Marlon. You'd be foolish. You'd be a fool to pay full price. Why pay full price when you could get a discount? Hey, let me tell you something. If you don't like USC because maybe you don't like the location and you like UCLA better, fine. But my question is, do you want the opportunity to pay less than a UC or another public school cost? Yes or no? Well, most of you guys would say yes. Well, great. There you go. Okay. At least you have the opportunity, but don't shy away from the private schools because they have more money. Okay. You have to understand this financial aid formula and how it works on their side. Remember, that's what I told you initially. So, secret number 3, positioning. This is how all the colleges get ranked in America. If you're looking at U.S. News Report, the Kipling Magazine, the Fisk Guide, Barron's, all those ranking systems, you'll notice this is how they all get ranked. The mission, the rankings, competition, need for tuition, and revenue, diversity, persistence, and graduation rates. These are all the colleges get ranked. You guys, this is nothing new. They have been doing this for the past 40 years, right? So here's the deal. Since 1980s, right? 40 years already, they have been doing this. Some of you guys, how many of you guys are getting mail from colleges right now? Like College Board or is mailing or mailing you guys, and you're getting a lot of mail from colleges you never even heard about, across the United States. Anybody getting mail right now? Raise your hand. Yeah. It's like, how in the heck did they get my information? Where did this come from? You know what happened, you guys? College Board or college, they sold your scores. So when your student applied or set up an account on College Board, they put in some parameters, right? Oh, here's my SAT scores, or here's my PSAT scores, here's my GPA, blah, blah, blah. Even though there's no SAT score right now, College Board sold the scores, sold your GPA. If you're at a public high school, the colleges could get your GPA. If you're at a private high school, they cannot get your GPA. Okay? So if you did take an SAT, they could get that as well. Okay? So some of you guys are at private high schools, and your private high school administered the exam, and that's how they got it. And now they're mailing to you. So if a college really wants to do this, how many of you guys are engineers? Anybody have a mathematical background, engineering background, anything like that? Finance, statistics? Anybody? All right, well, let me tell you what's going on here. Okay, so it's the system of enrollment management, and here's what they're doing. We're doing data mining, logistical regression, table analysis, and statistical analysis all day, all night long, all on back end, all on your case. Like, what are you talking about? You guys, the colleges already know if they want you or not, if they got your stuff, right? What do you mean, did you get my stuff? Did they get your GPA? Did they get your SAT scores already? Well, they already have your address, correct? So what they do with your address is, because they're mailing to you guys, is they could go to Zillow.com or Redfin.com, and they could take a look at your home value. So we got your home value. We know what your home is worth. We also know how much you owe in the house because that's public record. So we figured out your home equity position, number 1. Number 2, we have your address. We're going to do a demographic check based on some information that we have on you guys, and based on that information, we're going to fill in, can be some census data. We're going to know what the average income is in your neighborhood. So I have your income, I have your home equity. I don't know everything else you have, but I have those two. I have your kids' GPA. I may have their SAT score already, if they took an exam or not. I already have that. They're going to do some reverse engineering and calculate, is your student a good fit at my college? Okay. Again, they have all that information. Now, what are they doing with this? Well, now they're going to keep mailing you and mailing you and mailing you until you keep applying to the college, right? Mail, 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 email you to death until you apply, right? Because that's their branding, that's their marketing, and that's exactly what happens. And have you guys noticed that some of the information you're getting from a college, it's pretty fancy brochures, right? It's like, wow, this is really nice. This is a nice brochure. These are nice glossy material. They're not cheap, right? This is nice stuff they're sending out there. Why? Because they're trying to entice you. They're trying to say, hey, look how great our college is, right? And that's part of their branding. So everybody does this. Again, this is nothing new. They've been doing this for 40 years. Okay, it's new to you because you're new to the game, but they've been doing this forever, right? 40 years. So everybody does this. Okay, it's not what you need, it's what they need. So let's look case studies. Nancy at Cal High, 4.333 on the ACT, 1330. Okay, so we have some income, we have some assets. EFC's 119. This family comes to me, they're referred over by the doctor, and they saw the doctor and they said, hey, I got some money, and he referred me over. And basically what happened was this: I helped the doc get some money at Pepperdine for his son, and they referred me to this family. And they come to me and say, hey, Manny, you know what? I'm an engineer. My wife's a part-time accountant. We'd like to get our daughter into UC Davis. I said, okay, well, why UC Davis? Because, that's where we went to college. I said, okay, great. I like UC Davis. And I said, what major? And he said, engineering. I said, okay, sounds good. Good engineering program. And I said, okay, well, he goes, well, what else do you want? He goes, I want some money. I'd like to get a discount. I said, well, everybody wants a discount, but let me tell you this. I'm looking at your file here, and based on your income and based on your assets, I have good news and bad news. He goes, well, what's that? I said, the good news is your daughter would probably get into UC Davis. The bad news, unfortunately, you get no money. He goes, well, that's not what I want to hear. I said, what do you want to hear? He goes, well, how do I get some money? I said, you can get some money, but it's not going to be at UC Davis. I can tell you how to get other additional funding or merit aid, and let me tell you how to apply. Large, small, public, private, in-state, out-of-state, and rival colleges, right? Large, small, public, private, in-state, out-of-state, and rival colleges. When you apply to this fashion, you're going to get money. He goes, okay, let's go. So I go through this process, and this is what happened for them. We end up applying to 10 colleges. We got denied of 2 of them. We got into Cal Poly San Luis Obispo for engineering. That's a really, really good program. A lot of colleges offered about 20 grand. We got to Santa Clara University. At that point in time, it was 53,000. At the end of the day, we only ended up paying $15,000 a year because we got free tuition for 4 years. So here's a tip for you. Santa Clara University is a base year college. What does that mean? Base year means what you get the first year at Santa Clara is what you get for all 4 years at Santa Clara. Okay, that's what that means. Like, wow, absolutely. So if you hit the home run the first year, you get it for all 4. And that's what happens there. So she goes into Santa Clara, she gets to move around, but her decision was Cal Poly or Santa Clara. And Cal Poly is a great engineering program, hands down. But the problem with Cal Poly is you cannot move around your majors. Like, that's it. You get into engineering, that major, and she planned on mechanical engineering. I said, what do you know about mechanical engineering? She said, nothing. I said, okay, well, why'd you apply? She goes, because it sounds cool. I said, all right, great. Well, here's the deal. You need to figure it out and do some more research and homework. Go to the college first, and you should consider Santa Clara because you could move around and decide after the second year. So long story short, she decided to go to Santa Clara. She graduated in 4 years. She has 2 great job offers. One was at HP, the other one Square.com. And this is the same year that Square.com went public. And needless to say, she has now over thousands of shares, over $5 million of Square.com stock. And she's doing very, very well financially. And, she's doing good. So, a few years later on, she's a multi-millionaire already at a ripe old age of like 27 now. Pretty darn good. Pretty good. Okay. Daniel at Bellarmine. It's a private boys' school here in the area. 3.412A. So let me tell you about this. At a 3.4, we're not a rocket scientist, right? We're not stellar. student. We're an average student. I just want to tell you guys that there's a college for every single student that's out there. Whether you're a 4.8 GPA or you're 3.0, there's a college for you somewhere, somehow. Okay? There's over 4,000 colleges in America, and I guarantee you'll find a college somewhere. So income is 68,000. We got some cash. We have some home equity, but here's the deal with them. They're going to this private school. This Manny, we'd love to send our son to another private school if possible, and we should qualify for financial aid. Said, yeah. So let me show you how this works. So went through this process, and here's what happened. We ended up going to USF. That's my alma mater, right? We got grants, we got some loans, we got parent loans, work study. Our total loans are $50,500. At the end of the day, it was the same thing that they paid for Bellarmine, right? Private school, private college, same price, right? It was like $16,000 a year. They paid housing. Now that's a fantastic deal. Okay. So Jennifer, Santa Teresa Bio Pre-Med 386 1530, almost perfect scores. We have $160,000 in taxable investments. Okay, $110,000 income. Okay, at the end of the day, we went through this process, and this has happened for them. We ended up getting to UNC Chapel Hill. We got a Carolina scholarship at $15,000. At the end of the day, we only paid less than $17,000 to go to Tier 1 out-of-state school. Dad gets retired 2.5 years earlier. Yeah, that's a good deal, right? Very, very good deal. So, Steve, we business pre-med 4.6735, like again, almost near perfect scores. 26 colleges went to 15, 102,000. So they have some assets. So they have inherited assets, and their number is like they have 550 in home equity, rental 700, $60,000 in a 529 plan. But we did some planning, we did some positioning, and this is what happened for them. So we end up going here. Oops. Sorry. Ended up going to USC. We got $37,000 in grants and scholarships. We have some loans we got to take and pay back. At the end of the day, it's $35,000 going to USC. We saved over $150,000 over 4 years, and mom gets retired 3 years earlier. So basically, we're paying the same price for USC and the same price as a UC college. Michelle Los Altos, 4.833 on the ACT. Income 239. We got investments. EFC 66,000. We dropped it to 47. So at the end of the day, when looking at this, dad is a police officer and mom is a nurse. And they come to say, hey, Manny, like my daughter wants to become a nurse. We'd like to stay in California. We know that we don't have to pay a lot of money for nursing. She just has to pass her board, for the RN, and we'll be fine. I said, okay. I said, well, what do you want? She said, we love for her to go to great school. But the problem with nursing in California, it's all impacted for nursing schools in California. So a lot of colleges have wait lists, and it's typically about a 5.5 to 6 year graduation rate for nursing. I said, well, you have more opportunity if you go out of state, and I'll show you where to apply and where to get the money if you want to go out of state. So they said, okay, we'll be open to that. So we went through this entire process, and here's what happened for them. We got into Villanova, and I don't know if you guys heard of Villanova before, but we got the St. Martin Porras Award. It's $56,000. We got the Villanova loan, but they didn't want to take any loans. They're just going to pay out of pocket. So after everything's said and done, we're just paying housing at $15,705 plus some travel costs, right? A couple grand a year. So $18,000 is all they're paying for Villanova. Has anybody heard of Villanova before? Anybody? Raise your hand. It's a tier 1 liberal arts school. It's a really great school. That's comparable to like USC here in California, except that's in Pennsylvania, right? So another case, Stephanie, Valley Christian, 3.4, 1480, income $600,000, commercial real estate broker. They have some investments, 3 members in the family. Like they're not getting any financial aid. And they come to me and say, look, Manny, we just want our daughter to go to good school. We know we don't qualify for financial aid, but we want this process to be easier. So if you could help us, I'd greatly appreciate it. But if we get a discount, that'd be great too. I said, well, we'll see. She's an average student, but she has a pretty decent SAT score. I said, let's just go through the process. I'll show you how to do this. So we go through this process again, large, small, public, private, in-state, out-of-state, and rival colleges, right? Remember I told you that? Great. So we went through this process together, and this is what happened for them. We got to LMU. We got some grants. We got some loans. We did a very, very unique tax and financial planning strategy. So I work with some CPAs. I work with some financial planners. And at the end of the day, we're able to save over $144,000 in tax savings and the $72,000 of free money over 4 years. So needless to say, our college tuition bill or college costs over 4 years over the long run is basically free for the family because they did some tax and financial planning together. And Shul at St. Francis, okay, business pre-med, 4.3, 1550, almost perfect SAT score. $1.6 million income. Like, we don't need any financial aid. We have investments. We have $30 million in real estate holdings. So super high EFC. We're not getting any money at all, okay? And dad comes to me and says, hey, Manny, I'd love to get your help. I was referred to you by some of these other executives here in the Bay Area, and I'd love to get your guidance. I said, sure, let's talk about that. And so I said, what are you looking for? He goes, Manny, I don't want my son to go to a large school. I said, okay. He goes, I think the UC schools are great, but they're too big. I said, all right. What else do you want? He goes, Manny, I just want, less stress for my wife and my son. I said, okay, great. What else do you want? He goes, Manny, I'd like to go to a good school with the brand name, a little bit of panache. You know what I mean? Like a good brand name college. I said, sure. Okay. What else do you want? Because, Manny, don't bother me. Don't bother me until we're done. I said, all right, sure, I can tell you that. Let's go. Let's go through this process together. Again, remember, large, small, public, private, in-state, out-of-state, rival colleges, that whole thing. Great, went through this process, so this is what happened. We got to Amherst College. Has anybody heard of Amherst before? Raise your hand if you heard of Amherst. Anybody? It's a nice liberal arts school, very top tier. So it's a top tier liberal arts schools. We got a university grant. We got admitted to Cornell, Duke, Berkeley, San Diego, but nobody gave us any money. He ends up calling the college and says, hey, I'm a little confused about this award because I see 18,500. Can you tell me a little bit about this? I said, yes. Well, he said, is this a scholarship? They said, no, it's a university grant. Is this a merit award? They said, no. Is this a need-based award? They said, no. It's a university grant from our university to your family for 4 years if you wish to take it. No payback. Okay, great. Well, thank you. I just was under the impression that because of my financial status, that we don't qualify for financial aid. They said this is correct. This is not financial aid per se. This is a university grant, a gift from our school to you. Okay, great. We'll take it. So, long story short, we're going to Amherst, and we got awesome opportunities. Berkeley, Duke, San Diego, Cornell, like great, but they didn't want any of those, right? They found value in Amherst. So there it is at the end of the day for this family. So 2 things to consider in this process is student position and parent position, how to get your kid into the best college possible, and how to position yourself and your finances to maximize all your discounts for college in this entire process. What did we learn? We learned everything in about an hour, right? Dispelled the myths, told you, showed you case studies, right? Whether you have high income, low income, middle income, whether you have an excellent student, average student or not, like there's money for you somewhere, somehow, okay? We just have to know how to put together your game plan. All right, so here's my SMART formula for getting money. Stand out, do something a little bit different in the process for you to stand out. A great time to start is sophomore year, okay? If you're a junior, that's fine. If you're going to be upcoming senior, that's fine. Like, got to start sometime, right? But a good time is sophomore year. Make connections, talk to admissions, financial aid, heads of departments. When you're going through these campuses, all you need is one connection, one contact for somebody to give you a good recommendation, or email them admissions. Hey, the Smiths came in, highly recommend them, and this is the head of the department. Awesome. Apply for everything and do it early. Remember I told you there's other scholarships available at colleges? Do that. Resume is a building block and foundation for you to get to school, into that college. And what do you mean by that? It's like, what is your student doing throughout the years to increase their odds of admissions? And testing, are we still taking tests? Are we doing SAT, ACT? What are we doing? What about your AP exams and so forth? So knowing what tests we should be doing, what kind of classes we should be taking over the next couple years. Here's a word from Santa Clara. This is kind of what it looks like. We get over $39,000 of money from a family that's over in Hawaii that makes over $250,000. So they're coming to California to a private college and paying the same price as a UC. And this is their financial aid award letter. Time passes fast, yes? Your babies are no longer babies. They're heading off to college here in the next couple years. My goodness. Do you remember? Can you think back for a moment, like when your kids were babies and you held your baby in your arm for the first time? Can you think about that and see what that was like, holding your baby in your arm for the first time? In my kids, my kids are like tiny peanuts, right? I mean, I'm 5'5", 5'6". My wife's 4'11", right? It's like we're not having big babies. So my kids are like 5 pounds, 5 ounces, 17 inches long, and I'm holding my kids in the arm. And I remember when my daughter was born, and she was crying, and I was holding her, and I said, someday, somehow, you're gonna go to college, and I don't care if I have to work 2 to 3 jobs, but you're gonna go to college. And bam, it's just like that, right? Just like that, they're already going, right? I'm an empty nester after this next year, right? It's crazy how fast time goes by. But here we go. Don't freak out. I know this is a lot of information. I went very, very fast with this content. That's okay. But good news and bad news. Good news is this. I'm going to give you an opportunity to come and chat with me. It's either myself or my staff you'll chat with. Okay, but I'm going to have an opportunity to do a free consultation with us. So some of you guys, after the consultation, you're going to want more information like, okay, how does this work, Benny? How can I work with you? Great. So a couple qualifications. One is you must be ready to go and have at least a 3.25 GPA. You got to be willing to go to a 4-year university as well. Like I can't help you if you're going to go to community college because you don't need my help to go to community college. I can help you transfer later. Okay. Also, you must be a friendly family because you know what? I like to have a relationship with my clients. I like to be very compatible. Like I want you to like me. I want to like you. And if we're not a good fit, then I'll just tell you, sorry, you got to move on somewhere else. Okay. So I don't work with everybody. My services are very limited. So let me just tell you right now that I only limit to 100 families a year, and I'm more than 50% capacity right now. Okay. So I still have room in my program, but I don't have room for everybody here. Okay. Especially like I do this every single week. I spoke to how many families every single month. I mean, I think on these calls, we're talking to over 200 families a month on these web calls. So I don't work with everybody. I only work for those people who I can make the biggest benefit in. Okay. So you guys want to be serious about your money. Okay. Because college is very, very expensive. You gotta want to get advice from a real expert, somebody who has experience, right? I've got 15 years experience, 5,000 families later, okay, and members of my team as well. Like, I have a staff, so it's just not me. There's other people working with me as well. And parents and students, you don't want to procrastinate any longer. If you're a high school senior and you're looking at this process coming in this upcoming year, you guys don't have any time to procrastinate. It's like you got to get rolling here, okay, with this process. So if that's you, then great. Let's talk about this. Who is this for? Because this is not for everybody, okay? This is for parents who want to get their child admitted to the best colleges. This is for parents who would like to save some money regardless of your income. This is for parents who do not want to exhaust all your resources and who want more money in retirement. And this is for parents who want less stress, who want to save time. And this is for parents who want peace of mind. So if this is you, then great, awesome. I'd love to have a chance, an opportunity to chat with you. But here's what you need to do. I'm going to give you a bonus, right? Like I talked about, I'm going to give you my book. I'm going to give you that bonus list of 1200 college. I'm going to give you a consultation for free as well. So all that is a $497 value for you guys for free. If you want to take me up on that, if you want, there's a free consultation. If you don't want to do a consultation, great, no big deal. Best wishes to you in this process then, right? So here's the deal. If you want to do this, go ahead and take a quick snapshot of this. You guys will go to collegegamechanger.com. Actually, put that in the chat already. Okay, so I'll put that in here again. Collegegamechanger.com. Boom, that's where you're going to go. We're able to download the free book, and you'll get my new book coming out. And on top of that, you're going to get a free appointment to book. You just scroll down and see the calendar. You'll be able to look at my testimonials and real awards, true awards that are there for families. Okay. So there it is. Okay, guys, I'm gonna open up for any questions. Right now, I'm gonna stay on for another like 5 more minutes. It's a minute till 7:30. You guys have any questions that I can help you with that you guys are dying to ask me? You can put it in the chat here or do it in the Q&A box, whatever you wish. But go for it, guys. But first of all, do you guys want a recording of this? Who wants a recording? Do you want a recording of this call? Yes or no? Oops, sorry. I didn't spell it right. Recording. If you want a recording, great. Go ahead and make sure you go to collegegamechanger.com and you book an appointment, and we're going to send you over this stuff. Okay? So, which year at high school should you start college prep? Sophomore year is a good time to start. Okay? That's when you should be looking at it. Okay? Okay, anything else, you guys? Anything else you guys want to know? Okay, if you want a recording, hey, can you do me a favor? All right? Can you tell a friend about this? If you guys enjoy this, do you guys think was this good? Was this a good presentation and very informative for you guys? Yes? No? Is it good? All right, cool. Thanks, Ann. Anybody else think it was good? Right? Let me know, please. I appreciate the feedback. But yeah, Niraj, you're too early for me. Usually, come see me in a couple years, right? I don't, maybe freshman year, but really there's not a whole lot going freshman year. But 10th grade's a good time. Okay. Okay. Anybody else have any questions? Anything else I could help you with? Anything? Great. Thanks, Maria. Appreciate it. And Maria, if you guys want, just go ahead and book an appointment. You can go there and go to collegegamechanger.com, and then you'll find all the information there. Okay. So if you could tell a friend for me, if you do me a favor, you could tell a friend. Great. I'd appreciate it. If you want to do me another favor, you want to do a quick Yelp review for me, I'd really appreciate that. Just do a one-liner. You go to College Planning ABC in San Jose. Oh, I'm in San Jose. Boom, because I know you guys are other areas. But if you could do a quick Yelp review and say, hey, that was a great presentation, whatever. There's no sales pitch here. Only sales pitch is if you want a free appointment or not, right? So anything else? Anything else I can help you with, folks? This is live. This is good stuff for you guys. Anybody else have any questions? No? Okay, going once. Going twice. 3 times. All right, guys. Thank you. I'm going to end the call. Thank you so much for being part of this today. And again, go to collegegamechanger.com. You can download the free book, and you can book an appointment to come and chat with me. And I look forward to seeing you guys on our consultation. So thank you guys so much. Have a super fantastic evening and a great rest of your day. Okay, bye guys. Talk to you soon.